All right, welcome back, Universe, to Off the Rails, episode 47, our first ever 47th episode. This week we have the hilarious actor, writer, comedian, and podcast host, Tom Clark today. Tom's going to be with us. Oh, it's going to be a great time. I can't wait. All right, should we get into some bad joke monologue? Who wants to hear some bad jokes today?
I do.
All right. Well, it looks like Sean Connery didn't have to wait long to say, "Suck it, Trebek. Bested you again, this time to the pearly gates."
Wow.
Didn't expect to see your mother here. God frowns on the butt stuff.
Oh, God.
Travel agent working from home, Karen Bloom, had her cat stolen by a Republican campaign contractor. Well, son of a bitch, they really were out there grabbing him by the pussy. Support for legal marijuana hits 68% nationwide. The other 32% said they were too voted to stone, man. Michigan couple with 14 sons finally gives birth to a girl. The father called it a miracle, while the wife said, "Nah, it was the Schwann's, man." Pittsburgh police chief is baffled by a series of porta potties being destroyed by an explosive object. Now they have nothing to go on. Molly, I don't get a rim shot on that one? She's got it. All right. Charleston airport shut down because of a suspicious package they found. William said, "It's okay. I just shut my laptop real fast. It bends that way now."
That's right.
Speaking of airports, a measles outbreak at Seattle Tacoma International Airport is infecting children. Big whoop. It's 2020. We're battle hardened with scars across our face. Fuck the measles. Don't give a shit. The number one question women would like to have answered. Any guesses? Number one question?
Oh, God.
All right.
What are you thinking?
It's actually, is my vagina normal looking? Ladies, if you need that answered, send those pictures to offtherailstm@gmail.com. I am very honest, and I will take the time to look at every single one of them. Russia announces that its Sputnik 5 vaccine is more than 90% effective. They also said that we did the math and have much more big penis than you all have. William, show the Russians what a big penis looks like. You got a monologue here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, it's not really a monologue. I just want to tell you, I performed at the World Series of Comedy here in Las Vegas on Wednesday, the 6:00 show, and I had brought my Lucky shirt along, which I like to perform in this particular shirt, and I was getting ready to iron it, and I said to the iron, "Come on, this is my Lucky shirt. Do a good job." And this particular iron said to me, "Not tonight." And it literally coughed up a loogie on my Lucky shirt. Brown, orange, just fucked it up. And I tried to wipe it off, but it stained into the fabric, man. It's gone. So I had to use a second shirt, and I think it affected my performance. That's all. I'm blaming it on the iron. So, I don't know what to do with that. But they say that the remote control is the dirtiest part of a hotel room, but I think that nasty steamy iron would give it a run for their money. I don't know what the previous guests were doing with that iron, but I don't know. Maybe it was just hard water. I have no idea, but it coughed up a loogie on my shirt. So that's all. That's all I have.
All right, Molly, hit it.
Hello, universe. Welcome to Off the Rails with Tom and Mark.
All right, welcome back, Universe Off the Rails, episode 47, first ever 47th episode, and we're coming to you live from the Coldwell Banker Home Sale Realty Studios in beautiful Grafton, Wisconsin, Las Vegas, and wherever Tom's coming from. Tom, is that your house? You look like you just stumbled in somewhere.
I broke into this place. Good internet. No, I'm in Agora Hills, California.
Agora Hills, California. Hey, if you're there too, you can call my buddy Roy at cbhsr.com, or give him a real phone call, 414-235-0763. He would love to be your go-to for all your real estate needs. And this week, hilarious actor, writer, comedian, podcast host Tom Clark. We find out what's going on with the World Series of Comedy in Las Vegas. People removing sketch comedy. But first, Molly, what do we like to do? Woo! All right. Tom didn't know what he was getting into. All right, Tom, let's see how this is the hot seat. I just come up with random ass questions. We have a good time. Let's see how dirty this is going to go. So what do you think the male equivalent to getting flowers is?
I know it's supposed to be like a blowjob probably, but
well, there's no right or wrong answer.
Okay. I'd say just peace and quiet.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That is good.
That's a great one.
You're paying attention, right?
Yes.
I will get you flowers every day. You just shut the fuck up once in a while.
This is a weekly thing, Tom. He's constantly giving her shit, and we got to try to keep him off of her a little bit, you know.
Which she appreciates, actually.
She can pull the plug on everything, man. Just
she did.
I want to listen to the post-podcast fight. That's what I want to listen to.
Pretty bad. We had a fight last night, if you want to go a little deep into that.
Oh, let's hear it. No,
Molly is banned from cooking, and I finally let her cook last night. So I wanted to do some work like on the shows that I'm on and stuff. And I'm like, okay, just steak, potatoes, whatever. First thing she does is she starts frying the steak and everything before she puts the French fries in the oven. And I'm like, okay, those take like a half hour, right? No, 7 to 9 minutes. And then it says turn them and keep. So she fucks that up. And she's like, what type of seasoning do you want on your steak? Do you want the Cavanders? And I'm like, yeah. So then she puts on the Lowry's that gives me rot gut. And I'm like, why would you throw that on the steak? She's like, you didn't sound excited about the seasoning you wanted.
She goes, I guess.
No, I said, yeah. And then once again, I walk in to check on her, and she is scraping burnt French fries off of aluminum foil.
Burnt.
Okay. So
I gotta say, never mess with the sound engineer on your podcast. That's a dangerous thing.
It'll all fall apart for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, you're lucky she's cooking for you at all. Seriously.
No, I wasn't.
You are seriously lucky.
All right. I do all the cooking. Speaking of cooking, Tom, where do you put cheese on the burger? Do you put it right on the meat when you're cooking, or do you put it on the bun to protect the integrity of the bun?
I put it on the burger while it's cooking.
Good answer.
Because you kind of eat with your eyes a little bit. You want to see
you want
that
it melted. You want it melted on the burger.
All right, and then also, Tom, you're a Wisconsin guy. What kind of cheese on the burger?
My wife only likes Swiss, so it's always Swiss now.
Swiss is good.
Yeah, that's all right.
Probably have avocado on that burger since you're in California too, right?
Oh, of course,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's a whole different life out here.
All right. Without stopping, how far could you run at full max speed? How far are you getting? Before you gotta stop.
I've been running a lot during the pandemic, so I'd say I could probably run, let's say half a mile.
All out, full speed, half mile.
Half mile?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, if you're going full speed, you're covering more ground.
I'm not very fast to begin with, so I mean, I don't know what that's going to look like, but it's not gonna be great.
Well, it's a good thing you asked. Let's step outside.
Yeah. William, how far can you get? To
I
the
would
phone?
say full speed, I could probably go 100 yards. That's
so?
about it. I'm carrying a lot of weight right now. Maybe 100 yards, if that.
I wouldn't have asked you that on Veterans Day, so just so you know.
There you go. Oh, I used to run a lot in the Army, but that's a whole different ball game. That's
Okay.
a long time ago.
Can you say at a certain point in your life? I mean, in high school, I ran a 4:30 mile.
Wow.
So at that point, I probably could run a mile full speed.
See, I'm a
That's
sprinter. I was
very
forward
fast.
in soccer. I'm like a lion. If I don't
Right.
catch the gazelle in 50 yards, I just kind of say, fuck it.
But right
You're
now,
good.
right now, I could make it to the door full speed.
Full speed.
You ran a 4:30 mile. I want to see proof of that. I want
All right.
to see proof of that.
Next week, I'll bring it for you.
Yeah, bring it. I want to see it.
That's
I
like a
wanna see that.
300 patch when you're bowling. They give you a
And then we're
430
gonna
mile.
time you. We're gonna time you now and see how you're doing.
Well,
Wow.
like I said,
4:30
like I said,
mile.
I couldn't
Yeah.
make it to the door.
All right.
That's a pretty good mile, though. Did you ever win? Where'd you go to high school?
What
Elkhorn.
Olympics were you in?
I went to Elkhorn now, which is by Lake Geneva. Do you know where that is? Remember?
Oh yeah, of course. That's where they used to take the. We used to have the altar boys go on a retreat
Oh, yep.
over at Elkhorn. Yeah,
That's right.
that's where the priest took us.
Yeah, they're really quiet in Elkhorn. They know how to keep their mouth shut there.
It's actually like Fight Club. The first rule of Elkhorn is you don't talk about Elkhorn.
There you go. Oh, I just checked my high school records and I ran a 429 mile, believe it
There
or
you go.
not.
Hey,
I
we're gonna
think-
have a race.
That's is this like the metric system y'all are talking about?
I don't
All
think
these
there's metric time.
430 miles.
That should be a challenge for next week.
You know
Is who can run fastest? I think
Yeah.
that between the two of you.
Yep, absolutely.
I choose not
That's
to
what we're
run.
gonna do.
Oh, you're pulling the Seinfeld. Pulling the Seinfeld. All right. Tom, what are your thoughts of
Hey Tom, I wanted to ask, how's Art doing?
fuck me, right? You know, I'll just go fuck myself, right? You can't.
I just wanted to ask about Art while I was thinking. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He's asking about my dad, not about my art.
Okay.
My dad is doing good. He's 94 years old. I was just back in Milwaukee in October, and he got a new battery in his pacemaker, and he's still going
And I'm
strong.
frozen.
I saw that picture of him with Kenny Loggins. I thought that was awesome. You know,
Yeah.
I was looking at your Facebook page and I said, I didn't recognize Kenny Loggins. That's how out of touch I am, I guess.
Yeah, I took my dad to Jimmy Kimmel, and Kenny Loggins was backstage, and he's like, "Who is this?" I was like, "Doesn't matter, just get a picture with him."
You know what the bummer thing about
That's great.
pacemakers is? Before it goes off, it doesn't just jolt you normally. It gives you like a 10-second warning, like a beeper. Like I'm about to hit you with a bolt of lightning in 10 seconds. Get somewhere safe. So you know it's coming. I'd rather it just
wow.
shock me.
Yeah.
So that's
Sure.
pacemaker facts right here. But anyway, what are your thoughts of the new comedy clubs taking your cell phones and putting them in bags to see a comedian? The
I
live
like
bag.
that.
You
I
like
like
that? As a comedian, you like that?
Yeah, I think I don't have a problem so much. I mean, people texting is annoying, but I think it's sometimes people like to go Facebook Live with the show, and it's like some of that stuff you don't want out there, especially live. It's like I can't imagine if you're releasing a special or something how much material gets leaked out. So
Yeah.
I like it. I wish more clubs would do that.
Or what about if you're not doing a special and it gets leaked out and then you see it on someone else's special in a week?
Or worse yet, you just become like your horrible stand-up is revealed to the world.
People aren't going to pay anymore now.
Right.
At least there was mystique
I had him,
behind it.
I had him fooled for a long time until it damn
Exactly.
live feed.
All right, checkout lines. Do you switch to another one if it's moving faster, or are you married to that checkout line and you're in it for the long haul?
Let's see. I feel like I go to now with the pandemic. They limit the customers in the store, so I was always a stick with the line guy, and I never
Loyal,
liked line.
loyal Wisconsin man. Me too. I stick with it to the end.
That's a Wisconsin thing.
We're very loyal here in the Midwest.
I
Well,
jump-
no, it also makes you feel like
You're
an
also on your
asshole if
third
you
marriage.
move.
You gotta
If you move and then the line that you were in starts to move in, and then you just feel like a fool. They just stick with the line that you choose. That's your choice, and then you stick with it.
And I weigh it out though. Like I look who's in that line. Like if it's an old woman, I know there's a check coming. If it's
Check
like
writer, yeah.
beer, I'm like that's a quick swipe of the credit card. So it's like you got to weigh it out. So I analyze everything.
Yeah, there's also the amount of produce in their cart because they gotta,
Weigh
look
it.
up the code and weigh
Weigh
everything.
it
So
out.
that does factor into my line choice.
I think
You just see something better and ditch the old wife, and you're on to the new.
You're gonna run with that one, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Shouldn't have told you that.
the unhealthy people. That's who you stand behind.
Yeah, want it in and out.
It's easier to scan a bag of, or a thing of Oreos versus
Weigh some apples.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I got you there. All right. This one tears Molly and me apart. It breaks up marriages. You may want to plug your ears or not let your wife see this. Do you call it a hot pad or a pot holder?
Oh man.
I think we don't have either of those. We just have an oven mitt. So
Check out the bonus episode to see
Yeah,
Molly's
we're
oven mitt
About
story.
oven mitts.
Challenge accepted. Molly can complete a masturbation session with an oven mitt. You'll have to tune in tonight when we premiere the bonus episode.
You asked if I could, if I had to.
So you could gun to your head. You can gun to your head would probably
That's
help.
right, you
if
did.
your penis was too hot, that's why.
Oh shit! No, grab that mitt.
There you go.
I know it burns when I pee.
Too hot to handle. It's crazy.
All right, who would win in a fight, a bear or a tiger?
I'll go tiger just because of the leaping ability.
Anyone else want to weigh in on that one?
I got to go with the bear. Even though the tiger,
I would also say tiger.
once the bear gets a hold of it, the tiger's done.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
But
We
it's
have.
speed, though. I mean, they'll go right for the neck. Oh, you have one. Oh my
There we
God.
go. Let's see what happens. Now this is a dwarf bear.
Ow.
Now the
Oh, you
tiger,
didn't say dwarf
is-
bear.
yeah, it's a small bear too. It's not even a black bear.
They prefer to be called little people bears.
Little people bears.
Vertically challenged bears.
Now in the octagon, the tiger is up on
Dwarf
points.
bear.
Kind of in
Okay.
that submission hole.
It's getting there.
I
A
don't
sloth bear. Sorry, it's a sloth bear. They're kind of weird looking.
Oh,
Move
it's
up a little
lazy
bit here.
bear.
Guys, I don't think they're fighting.
Oh, they're playing.
Look how weird it looks. But it keeps coming. It's a Rocky Balboa. And
Oh,
if you push a
Oh,
cat in
boy.
water, it wants no part.
good job.
Okay.
But you put that tiger up against a grizzly,
Oh, it's
there's no
crazy.
match.
I don't think so. Because that was just a sloth bear. That's
Yeah,
like,
but-
besides a koala, that's about the littlest bear. So I don't know.
To each his own.
What do you guys think? Oh, Tom bailed.
No.
What happened there, Mal? What is going on? You clicked out of something? And William left. I love the live versions. I have no clue what happened. We're getting everybody back. All right.
What
They
happened?
were pissed about the bear fight.
No way.
Animal cruelty.
Tiger.
You got the tiger? The tiger bailed.
Yeah.
Live to fight another
he
day,
did.
I guess.
I think it was a draw though, because nobody killed the other one, so nobody got eaten. It's a draw.
Cats hate water, and that tiger chose to jump into water to get away from that bear.
I think it was kind of pushed in the water.
Yeah, the bear was kicking its ass. It outlasted him. It had the stamina.
It had bear jujitsu going on. That's what was going on.
Yeah.
They should not call that a sloth bear. That is not a lazy bear.
No,
That's
not
not
at
a
all.
lazy
I
bear
agree.
at all.
Inappropriately named.
So, weirdest item you keep by your bed. I always have a bunch of chip clips because I snack a lot in bed.
I have a Square app next to my bed
Square
for running credit cards and stuff.
The service is rendered.
You can charge all of the credit cards that you've like pickpocketed throughout the day. I don't know.
All the numbers you scanned out of people's pockets.
Just kidding.
I don't know why it's there, but it is. It's right next to my bed.
How often do you
That's
use it?
crazy.
Never. I don't know. I mean, I use it for stand up, but I guess since the pandemic, it's just been sitting on my nightstand. So, and I don't know. Maybe my wife, I can have her run it. Like, oh, you want some sweet lovin'?
There's a menu. This is the prices.
$9.95.
Hey, we can't run that unless you order $5 worth of services here.
There's a 3% charge on top of that.
It's like
Do you button your shirt top to bottom or bottom to top?
oh my god, I'm all over the place. I'm always like off one. I've done shows where it's been off one, so it's like up here and then.
That's why you got to go top to bottom, so you don't get off.
I think I think I just start in the middle and then I hope for the best.
Up and down. We trying to speed it, one.
Yeah, sort of simultaneous. Yeah.
All right. We'll end with describe the worst date you've ever been on.
Oh, I got this one. I went to before I got married. Obviously, this would be bad if it was during my marriage.
Last week.
Last week, I went with a girl to a movie, and she wanted to buy some Southern Comfort to enjoy during the movie. And I thought she'd buy like a little flask. She bought like a jug,
Like the handle, yeah.
like the handle, yeah.
Where you got to pour it over your shoulder to
Right.
like wing it in.
And about 10 minutes into the movie, I just hear this glug, 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 glug. That he poured out. Like, it must have been 3/4 of the soda right on the floor of the theater. And then I just hear the bloop, 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 bloop of the Southern Comfort. And then she passed out before the movie ended.
Did you just walk away at that point? Leave her there?
He ran her credit card.
I was tempted, but we're in Panorama City, so it's not the best place to leave anybody. So, but yeah,
That's why the floor is so damn sticky.
Yeah, that's why the floor is sticky is people pouring out booze during the movies. So yeah, that was pretty
Depends what
bad.
kind of theater you're in.
Yeah. William, you got any bad date stories?
Oh, not too many to count. Way too many. I will tell you this. I did go on a first date with a girl, and we were out to dinner, and we're in a Mexican restaurant, and they brought her food, and it had sour cream on it, and she sent it back, and she's like, I just can't stand sour cream, and she shuddered. And I was like, all right, so now I know where this is going. There is no way in hell that she's gonna let me come in her mouth. It's just over. Like, waiter, make that order to go. This date is over.
Why didn't you try something
What's going on with your sperm that it's sour cream like?
that you can dollop it?
It's just a cream.
Put it
Peanut
over the
cream.
coffee gun, Sour cream, I hate sour cream. It just stuck in my head. Oh, she's not gonna be fun.
Yeah,
I
do you come
apologize.
like you're milking a toothpaste?
It's
Oh,
like a tube of caulk,
Is it a dollop of William?
a dollop of William will do you.
A
little
dollop
dab
of
do
DNA.
I'm the same with with guacamole. If
Okay.
she doesn't want guacamole, then it's like no, it's a no go.
Right?
No, I don't
I
know.
love the guacamole, the avocado. That's awesome. What about you then, Michael?
Well, Tom's already hit on it. I mean, how long do we have here? I mean, we only got an hour, so I think I'm going to pass on that one.
All right. I went on a first date with a girl before Molly. She was a lot bigger than her picture was.
Okay.
She shoved me into the restaurant and basically interrogated me for the whole meal. She questioned why I went into medicine. She wanted to know if it was noble or I just wanted to be money and show off to my friends or whatever. And then at the end, I must have passed the test because she's like, well, you want to go back to my place and bang me? And I'm like, not really. And then she sweetened the deal and was like, yeah, but my roommate's there and she's pretty freaky too. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
How much does your roommate weigh? And she's like, well, she's a little bigger than me. And I'm like, nah, I'm out of here. And then I paid for the meal and left. So I turned down.
Do you have that girl's number still?
Yeah, she's actually a teacher. I won't say what city, but
give her a call because I like a big girl. I'll give her a call.
Well, if her roommate's home, you're in major luck.
Yeah,
I hope you got enough dollops for both of them. And if they're over $1.75, they swallow. That's just how it goes. That's just everybody knows that. All right. Well, let's do a couple of announcements. William, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been at the World Series of Comedy. As I said, I performed on Wednesday night. I did not advance, but it was great getting back on stage and being in a comedy club. It's social distancing, so the most I could have in that room was 50 at a time. We couldn't be in there to watch the other comics perform. Go in right before our time, go on stage, and come back outside. So I enjoy watching other comics perform. That's the only thing I regret about it, but it's great seeing a lot of these comics from all over the country that I haven't seen since last year, and some of them were new people that I haven't met. A lot of people out in California, and they've just been great. It's just been awesome getting back on stage. I'm just thankful to have the opportunity to do this, and I had a great time.
Excellent. We'll get more into that later. We got Movies with Mark is back. Mark Metcalf. We're going to be doing next Friday our next episode with him. So what's it called? Something chocolate.
Water
like water for chocolate. Like water for chocolate.
Yeah.
And where is that available for us to be able to watch it? Is that on Amazon?
The internet.
I think it's on Amazon.
I think somewhere.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I didn't find.
I believe
it's
on Amazon.
I looked for it. I hope it is.
We got Free Prime. We'll get it for you. Everybody go see it. We're going to be joining the Big Laugh Comedy Network. They're doing some big crazy stuff. We'll be on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick. We're still everywhere else. Check out the Pop Culture Podcast. I got a hell of a week going next week. I got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday shows with just amazing guests. Molly and I are now assistant directors at Twisted Dreams Film Festival. Woo! All right, get Wisconsin filmmakers. You get in for free. And I have to say, with the drought that's coming of content, we are not short of it. So either you can get a Netflix account or start your own film festival, and you got all the new stuff coming. So going to be 10 days next year, coming up in June. And Michael, what have you been doing? What did we do on Wednesday?
We have been chronicling the history of the Guffs, one of Wisconsin's, I guess, more legendary bands. They've been together for 30 years, and we've been. Are you familiar with the Guffs at all, Tom?
Oh yeah, crash into me, right? Wasn't that?
Yep. So we've been working through their 30 years of history. We're on just put out our 4th episode, and we're just kind of getting into Smile, Collide, and the Atlantic days. So that stuff's still yet to come. So we're getting more and more participation from the band. So it's just getting bigger and bigger.
And they're fixing my teeth.
And Goran's actually fixing Tom's teeth.
Goran has been in my mouth.
Yeah. Lead singer of the Guffs, Goran. Yep, he's been in Tom's.
He's a dentist.
Okay.
He's not just rocking my mouth like half the women in Milwaukee probably has, but.
So that's it's called the Guff Circa 2020. So you can see that on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. We're pushing out a lot of different platforms right now. So check it out if you can.
It's very cool. So we got Tom Clark here today. We're going to talk to him here. All right, Tom Clark, how the hell did you get out of Milwaukee being a comedian?
You can just leave, turns out.
What? But I thought there were ice walls in the...
Yeah. No, I left around 2001. I just wanted to... I had an agent who was interested in working with me, so I came out, and it was tough. The first couple of years was very tough, and then just slowly started making my way. And I did a contest for Comedy Central, and I finished second overall, and that started the ball rolling. Started getting some late night sets, and then just kind of hung in there. That's what you do for your career, right? It's just hang in there.
But you did take that leap of faith of actually getting out of everybody's comfort area of Milwaukee.
I think it's just something I knew if I didn't do it, I'd regret it. So I wanted to give it a shot. And I was working at the time. I was running a mentoring program on the south side of Milwaukee, working over at St. Anthony's. And I think, Will, were you a mentor over there?
I was. My son as well. Yeah, we worked with you for a while. Yeah, it was great.
I forgot about that. Yeah, so I ran a mentoring program, Will and his son. And
is that the stand-up mentoring or?
No. Academic mentoring through this Opus Dei Catholic organization. And but then they wrote up an article about me in the Shepherd Express, and it just sort of described, like, I'm not dirty, but it describes, like, one of the groups I was in was the Dead Alewives. Mm-hmm. And my boss said, he's like, someday you're going to have to choose between doing this and doing comedy. And I was like, oh, all right, I'm going to do comedy. So that kind of pushed me over the edge, actually. And I just decided that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to kind of keep balancing between the two.
Now, the Dead Alewives, was that improv or?
Yeah, Dead Alewives. So that was Dan Harmon, Rob Schraub. Dan created Community on NBC, and Rob did what did he do? Oh, Sarah Silverman Show. So it was a pretty talented group of guys, and a lot of us ended up moving out here and just sort of we started in Milwaukee. We used to perform at the Miramar Theater, and just did a ton of shows, and that's where I really earned my comedy chops. It was all improvised stuff and writing here and there, and it was fun. I mean, that's where I really learned so much about comedy, was doing that.
Doing the improv, does that help you, or does that pop up in your act a lot?
Oh yeah, I do a lot of improv within my act. I think I love sort of that unknown aspect of comedy, is like, you never know what's going to happen when you interact with somebody from the audience, what they're going to say, what you're going to say. So I think that's what keeps it fresh for me, because yeah, I mean, otherwise stand-up can get kind of stale after a while if you're not taking some chances on stage.
So what's the audience difference going from the Milwaukee crowd out to California? How's that work for you?
I don't think it's not too different. I don't think. I love we just did a show last week at a brewery in Ventura. And it's the same sort of blue collar people that you run into in Milwaukee. And I think, I think it's really no different. I don't think it's any different than Milwaukee.
Wow. Cause I'm imagining everybody going to spin class and drinking green grass stuff. And
no, it's pretty, if they had fried cheese out here, we'd be all set. But, I think it's I don't think people aren't that different. I think California, I do get that a lot, especially during the election. I was getting a lot of like, well, you changed, you're from California. It's like, I was the same guy. I ran a mentoring program in Milwaukee. I'm not suddenly different moving out here. I think it's just people like the nice weather. That's why they're all here. I don't think I think that's the only difference. It probably makes people a little happier than being in 30-degree weather or 10-degree weather. But I love it. I love it out here.
Oh, how do you know William? How'd you guys get hooked up?
Just through stand-up. I ran the Safe House in Milwaukee, which was probably one of the lone open mics in Milwaukee at the time. And Will and I, when we started, I think Will started in the mid to late 90s, like me, and there were hardly any comics. So I needed comics, and you could get like 15, 20 minutes of stage time, whether you had that time or not. And
right.
Will was very dedicated, would come out, and I was running the open mic, and he would go up. And a lot of times it's just 7 people in the back of the Safe House, and that's where we all kind of earned our chops, was there.
Yeah.
That's it. And Tom also does some acting, and I don't know if you caught him on the pregame show, the Fox, the NFL show, a couple of weeks ago. But he was hilarious as usual. But you don't just do comedy. I mean, I've seen you do some serious roles as well.
Right. I played a murderer on the Closer opposite Kira Sedgwick. I was the peeping Tom in the closet.
So it was a real life role.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with me.
That's why his closet door's open behind him. You always got to keep it open.
Oh, Jesus.
Weren't you on something with HBO as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was on Room 104. That was an interesting one. That was actually with Mark Proch. Proch, who's a guy out of Wisconsin. I was a cop. I bust in this hotel room, and these two guys have gotten together, and they're going to. There's no simply put, they're going to eat each other's penises. So, Room 104 HBO. Check that out.
How were they?
Hungry.
Did they put it on a bun, or how
What's
would you
that?
go about? How are they going to prepare it? Like on a bun with ketchup?
Sort of a hot plate situation.
Just fry it up,
Yeah.
brown it all.
Sear it and cook.
It's based on a true story, actually, out of England. So, it was pretty interesting shooting that.
You didn't have to do any taste testing, did you?
No.
It's better to be the cop than two guys. That's crazy.
I was trying to stop it. So I played.
Yeah, it would be mustard because you don't want those people from Chicago yelling at you for putting ketchup on a wiener dog.
Ketchup on a wiener dog. No, can't do it.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
You like the ketchup on there?
Yeah.
You ever tried the Chicago dog?
You
ever try the Chicago dog without the ketchup?
I have. I never. I think I only learned that like in the last few years. So I didn't know that was a thing that you're not supposed to put ketchup on a hot dog. So
You can put tomato, but not ketchup.
yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
That's why Illinois is one of the most corrupt states in the entire United States, because they don't put ketchup on their hot dogs. I mean, it just adds to the laundry list of things that's
Darn.
wrong about Illinois.
Fibs.
Yeah,
And yeah, we had to go down there to get my teeth fixed.
yeah, right. We saw
There you
corruption.
go.
Hard
Right.
Chicago.
Listen, if I want ketchup on my hot dog, I'm gonna have ketchup on my hot dog.
That's right.
So there.
Well, if
Yeah.
I want Cavanders on my steak, I guess I'm not gonna have it on my
Oh,
steak.
really? You're really gonna let it go? Huh? She'll never cook for you again. Tom, tell us what you're
That's
doing now.
what I want
these
for my
days, though.
birthday.
What
What's
are, you,
that?
what are you up to these days, Tom?
What am I up to? I've just been doing some. My wife's a comedian as well, Steph Clark, and she and I. We've just been doing shows at these breweries. Been doing some acting stuff here and there. I've actually been teaching stand-up. I teach a high school up in Napa. I teach via Zoom. I'm preparing them for a show next week, Saturday. And I don't know. It's such a weird time to not. I'm supposed to go up to Oregon this week and perform, but I just got an email today saying that they're going to.
Is this your standupteacher.com?
Yeah, that's standupteacher.com. That's my website for teaching, and then I have my tomclark.com, which is for my.
You know what I love about this website here? When you're on the fence about ordering something on the internet, when you just say, "Trust me, I'm a professional."
That's right. You have to let them know.
You gotta let them know that. All
That's
right, I was
right.
on the fence, but he told me to trust this guy on the internet. Said I'm a professional.
Now I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go delete that. Put me in my head. Thank you.
Go, Tom.
2 hours later, the site's down.
Thanks a lot, Tom. The last time we get him as our guest.
No, that's. I think that's awesome.
And then after that, his next year of stand-up comedy was all trashing off the rails.
Yep. Those guys are not professionals. Trust me. I was on the show.
Yeah.
Trust me.
My demographic will be Ron Purdy.
Awesome.
That's hilarious.
So speaking of podcasts, you do a podcast. It comes, you named it after a bit in your act, correct?
Yeah, we have the I'm a Rescue podcast, which is I have a joke in my act where I say my wife is great. She is a rescue.
Yep.
I'm a Rescue podcast. So we just interview people from different walks of life, people that have overcome stuff. We interviewed the JetBlue flight attendant who what did he do? Oh, he got upset with the passenger and then he quit via the emergency slide. I don't know if you remember that guy.
Yeah.
And then he walked off down the tarmac with a can of beer, like a 6-pack of beer, and just walked down the runway.
This was his severance. He took a 6-pack and a slide.
Yeah, slide.
Always wanted
Yeah, so that was it.
Y'all remember that story?
No, I've never heard that one.
I remember that story. Oh my God. We'll have to dig that up maybe for the next show and show it. Because when they interviewed him, he was hilarious. He really was. He had enough.
Yeah, he's a sassy gay fella, and it's very interesting, his story and what happened after that. And then I just interviewed my brother who about 20 years ago he got kidnapped in Brazil.
No way.
Yeah. So he got thrown in the trunk of a car and taken away at gunpoint and lived to tell the tale. So we talked. I never really talked to him in full detail about it. He just sort of told me in passing. He's like, "Oh yeah, I got kidnapped in Brazil, right?" I was like, "What? Tell me more."
But you're an adult.
Homer Simpson got kidnapped in Brazil.
How'd your brother get out of that?
Yeah, how did he?
He kind of bonded with, it's sort of like reverse Patty Hearst. His captors kind of bonded with him. They're like, "Oh, you're pretty cool." Like, cause he spoke Portuguese. So I think that helped. And he was just hanging out with them and saying "Oh, we'll get money out of this ATM. I'll give you $1,000. You're like, "Cool. And then let's meet tomorrow. We can get more money." And they're like, "Well, no." But he just sort of said "Guys, look, you got everything. You got my phone. You got my money. Let's call it a day." And they were like, "All right, you've been cool." So
it's a good day. You're a good kidnapper.
5 stars.
Well, and then you got to also convince them that your family doesn't have a lot of money to send them, because that's the whole purpose of Donate, is to kidnap people so they can extort money from their families, right?
Yeah, well, I guess they didn't think of that, Will.
Yeah, my brother's on the NFL pregame. Why don't you kidnap him? I'll calm down here.
That's the money cow right there. That's the guy you want to kidnap, Tom Clark.
Yeah, it's a good podcast. It's available on all the different platforms. But we got.
Now you do it twice a week, or one. Hold on, we're both bi-weekly, but you do it once every other week. We do it twice a week, but we're both called bi-weekly.
Oh, okay.
Are we using pronouns now?
Is that how it works?
Yep.
I'm subscribing to your podcast right now.
You're subscribing to Bi Curious Weekly, is what you're subscribing to.
It's a whole different podcast.
Oh my God. I need someone else on the rim shot one there. William, you set yourself up so great for that one. Oh, geez. Now, this was curious going through your bio because I Facebook stalked you for a while. You didn't even notice. But you were cast as the mummy from Aqua Teen. I love that show. Why did they choose you for that voice? Anybody could have done that voice. And I'm not saying anything, but
I got to be honest with you. That's not me.
What?
I've tried to get that off my IMDb and I seriously can't get it off the IMDb. There's another Tom Clark who's in the biz and it is
okay. Because I was going to say, why would they get a famous comedian? The Mummy literally is like, do this. And that's all the point. And I'm like, why would you do that? So
I know it's, I've gotten many
questions.
People talking to me "Oh, you're the Mummy. That's awesome." I'm like,
I love Mummy.
Yeah, I'm a stand-up, but I'll take Mummy.
Wow. And you can't get that off. They just...
Yeah, I try to like say, and like he has a couple of my credits on his, so it's like we can't. IMDb is very, very unorganized.
What if you lose a job because somebody's like, I hate that Love Mummy episode. That's so annoying. I'm not hiring this guy.
Oh, I know. I'm always scared of that. I booked a role on Fresh Off the Boat last year, and when I checked in, it was this other Tom Clark, and I was like, no. And then when they booked me, I was like scared that they were going to call this guy and bring him in. So I've been lucky.
Ooh, wow. So how much is going on acting wise now that everything's pretty much locked down?
I mean, I went out for that Fox NFL thing, but that was because I knew the director, and he was. They're not really doing auditions. It's a lot of at-home stuff, a lot of at-home auditioning. So for me, it's been very slow as far as acting stuff. But we're trying to shoot some stuff on our own. Just my wife and I have a web series called The Clarks. So we're going to try to. We have an episode. So 4 years ago, we shot an episode where it was Donald Trump. That's Will. Will's lost interest in our podcast.
I apologize.
You said you're subscribing to all your stuff instead of listening.
Bi-Curious Weekly.
And then I'm a rescue with Tom Clark.
Pretty hard there.
And I accidentally was downloading and it started playing. My bad. I apologize.
Anyways, continue, Tom.
How about your wife?
So 4 years ago, we shot an episode of The Clarks where it was Donald Trump moving into as our next door neighbor. And so we sort of shot it. We got an Obama impersonator. We got a Hillary impersonator. We got this guy who does a great Trump. So I think the next thing we're going to shoot is going to be Trump moving out of the house, and Joe Biden moving in. So that's sort of what we got coming up. I still got to write it, but yeah, if you check out our web series called The Clarks, you can see that episode. It got a lot of good reaction on it.
Where do you find that?
You can go to my YouTube page, Tom Clark Comedy, youtube.com/Tom Clark Comedy, and we have the whole web series.
You do a lot of YouTube stuff though, right?
Oh yeah. I got a bunch of my stand-up on there, different sketches. Yeah, I don't even know. I probably have more videos than views, but
how much stand-up have you been working on? Or when this lifts, do you got like enough material to throw out 2-3 specials right away now?
Oh my God, I've never felt less. I mean, in the beginning of this pandemic, I never felt like less like writing comedy. It was such a difficult time. I wasn't writing anything. So I feel like I'm finally out of that sort of haze, and now actually performing live, you kind of feel like, because you're just sort of sheltered when you're in sort of this environment of just your home and watching the news. You kind of just get sort of in your head about like everything is scary, and then you kind of get out among people like, oh, okay, people are nice. Not everyone's attacking each other and yelling at each other. It's like people want to get along, but. That's helped a little bit. So it's just sort of renewed my confidence. And
isn't it like getting out and having experiences is where the natural comedy kind of happens in daily life?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I think that's the thing is like, yeah, you can't really create comedy when you're stuck at home and everyone's doing the same 10 things of eating and watching Netflix and sanitizing your hands every 5 minutes. So yeah, I that's been nice at least to go out, because I'm the only. My wife barely goes out. I go grocery shopping, and now we're starting to do shows, so that's helped.
No, but that's an interesting perspective. You know, when you talk about people that are creative and how you look at this pandemic and how it affects major things, people's jobs and stuff. But you look at people that are creative like yourself and how that kind of affects your mental outlook on things and how you're not able to kind of create or advance yourself because you get stuck in that lull where everything you watch in the news is just horrific and you kind of get in this little rut. And it's kind of good to hear you because we've kind of broken out of some ruts here recently between all of us and stuff like that. But it's almost you really got to kind of grab yourself by your shoulders and drag yourself up, because it's just not going to happen otherwise.
Right. And I think you can't beat yourself up if you're not creating stuff, because I think that was the other thing is you felt like, well, I got this 6-month layoff. I can write all those screenplays I've been thinking about. But it still has to come from like a creative place. It has to come from an inspired place, not just like I'm going to force myself to do this. So I think that's one thing I've learned is to kind of let the creativity come to me as opposed to forcing it to come out.
Well, it's interesting to hear, someone established as yourself to kind of go through that same thing, where we think like with looking at you, we just kind of think it pours out of you, that this is something that you're not going to experience. So it's kind of a nice identifying factor to hear, not that it's a great thing, but that we kind of go through the same stuff.
Yeah. And I think you hear that from a lot of creative people, that it's hard to create during this time. And if you're struggling with that, to not beat yourself up over it, to realize we're all going through it and everyone handles it differently. So don't, it comes like sour cream.
I think taking a few days off of the news, just like I'm not going to watch the news for a few days, kind of helps. It takes you in a better frame of mind. Mm-hmm. And I find that's when things start to flow, because when you're inundated with bad news and just horrible things, it is hard to be creative and come up with something funny, because you're constantly just having all this bad stuff coming at you. You just turn that off, and then things will you start to relax a little bit more, and you'll start to be a little more creative, I think.
Yeah, I love the snooze feature on Facebook. That's about the best thing I've discovered in this pandemic.
Yes.
I mean, it's been amazing. That's the best feature ever. Facebook has done one thing right. It's the snooze.
I'm still your friend, just not for 30 days. Because some people are in it to win it with the politics, and you just got to be like, hey.
When you snooze for 30 days, do you realize when that 30 days is up, when they start popping up again? Are you like, oh my God?
Oh yeah, because they start right away. It's the same thing. You're like, I thought I got rid of this person.
It's there waiting for you.
After 30 days, they're still like going nuts. Then maybe it's time to just.
I've started kind of
unfollow.
I had another comedian tell me to do this. When you see somebody's birthday is up, that's when you judge them if they remain on your friends list or not.
Oh.
So just 1 year of, I don't really talk to you or care what you got to say. Happy birthday. See ya.
I don't feel like wishing you happy birthday.
If I don't
wish your employee, it's like an employee evaluation, right?
Right.
Yeah, your evaluation is up if you remain on my friends list or not.
Well, I like when someone has they want you to donate some money to their charity for their birthday. It's like, you can get a happy birthday from me. That's about it. I wasn't planning on giving any money to your charity.
$5,
But now when I see that, it's like, I'm not even wishing a happy birthday. Because you call me a cheap son of a bitch.
Right.
You can unfollow someone. You can unfollow someone and not unfriend them. So literally, you could still be their friend.
Oh, I've done that a lot.
Yeah, right. So, and they're none the wiser, really. So I think that's another genius tactic.
You use that on family members that you can't unfriend.
Yeah. Have you tried the online stand-up, like the Zoom stand-up?
Yeah, I just did a show on Thursday. I did a show. It was actually one of the best shows I've done, and it was for Tinder, actually, and for their behind-the-scenes people, the people that do all the coding and stuff. And I think that was the best audience because they're internet savvy and they do a ton of Zoom stuff, so they knew they all were unmuted, which is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And they also knew not to talk while I'm talking, or not to have the dog barking or the kids yelling. So that was one of the better ones. But I've done, when this first started, I was doing some shows and it was just performing into an abyss of silence, of everyone just muted. And then you just see, they're kind of like Will, they're kind of shrouded in darkness. And you just sort of see them.
Maybe making sour cream in the background.
No.
You just kind of
out of a Brazilian cab trunk.
Yeah, it's awful. Some of those shows were just awful, or you just why are you watching this? They're just looking so sad, and you're just like,
yeah.
I can't do this. I'm getting nothing.
You have to pause for laughter, and if your joke misses, you're just wallowing in suck. You don't know to like speed up to the next joke.
Yeah, and you're just, and then you're done with your show, and you're just in your house again. You're just what a depressing day.
Just for a second.
Have you tried one of the drive-in shows, Tom?
No, and it doesn't intrigue me at all to do. I don't want people to honk at me while I'm performing.
Step on your line.
The best one I saw was a girl started out her set. She's like, "Hey guys, honk if you're horny," and you just heard everyone lay on their horn. But yeah, the drive-in comedy does not intrigue me at all. I love the brewery comedy we've been doing has been great because it's 2 to a table. They're all spaced out. We're sort of in this parking lot behind the brewery, and we have about 50 people at the event, and that's been great. But yeah, I've seen the drive-in, and it's just I don't really get it, but people seem to show up for it.
Well, we had one where they set up a stage, and then the people pulled in, and they like sat on their tailgate. So they brought little chairs out behind the car, and they were an audience. They were just distance from us, and there weren't any honking or whatever because the people came out of their vehicles, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. I would do it again, absolutely.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Give it a whirl. You got to try it once. You only get one spin around, you know?
That's true.
Try everything once.
YOLO.
Well, I'll try it in year 2 of the pandemic. That's when I'll do it.
Oh, please, Tom.
Don't jinx us.
Please. This thing's about over, I'm hoping.
Yeah, you can keep hoping, William.
Yeah.
Don't they have a vaccine that's 90% effective? I'm willing to take that chance. I'll get in line right away.
Gun of sour cream. Depository form. Now close your eyes and don't look behind you. I'm going to administer this. You're going to be COVID cured, buddy. Trust me.
Well, I know one girl that's not going to take that one.
You always got to have something to shoot for, right? Goals. That's what gets you through this. Tom, where can we find all of your stuff? Let's plug you. Thank you so much for coming with us. I know you gave us an hour. An hour's up. We love having you.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You've been awesome.
All my stuff is at tomclark.com. You can go, and then all that has all my links. The other thing I forgot to mention is I've been doing these phone scammer videos that are, they get the phone.
That one guy talking about Sex in the City.
Yeah, the Sex in the City guy. So the IRS says you've been compromised, your social security number. So I get those calls and I started recording them, and they've been a lot of fun. But yeah, the one that you're talking about was I started giving the guy my resume, and then he's like, "Oh, HBO, I love Sex in the City." I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Who's your favorite character?" He's like, "I don't know. I was like, "Do you like Sarah Jessica Parker?" He's like, "Oh, I love Peter Parker." I'm like, no, not Peter Parker.
Then he yelled at you for bragging about your car and how much money you have.
Oh, yeah. And the other one was, I said, I drive a 2017 Tesla. Yeah, I do pretty good. This money means nothing. And then he yelled at you. Yeah, bragging at the guy. It's a very interesting dynamic of the phone scammer, because they want to keep you on the phone, yet they got to kind of put up with your nonsense. So you can definitely
lied about Sex in the City. He just was making conversation, and then he's like, "Well, I don't have time to watch it. It's my favorite show."
Right. And then I said, "Well, you have a lot of time because we've been talking for 45 minutes on this call. So you clearly have some time on your hands." But yeah, all that stuff is on my webpage, and it's and I really appreciate you guys having me. I'm glad.
Hey, thanks for coming. Molly, what should they do with the video?
They should. I don't have it on the right screen.
Molly, you got one job.
Sorry. Here.
And share.
And share, like and share. Everybody grab
There we
all their
go.
stuff. All right, Tom Clark, thank you very much. Thanks for coming. Thanks for playing along with
Thank
us.
you, Tom.
Having a good time. Remember, universe, we're not good enough.
Thanks for tuning in, universe.